Sandra all the time is here with the cold heart true. She's the ears and the eyes for me and you. Every day, everyone want to hear from Sandra. And every time on the air, she's getting better. Tell your sister, tell your brother, tell your mama, call Sandra in the morning and in the evening. They always calling Sandra. And when they start fighting, they calling Sandra. And
That's right, folks. Everyone is telling their mama about the cold hard truth. Welcome to another episode with more truth-telling, more problem-solving, and of course, more tea spilling than ever before. Sit back, students, grab your tea and turn up the volume because class is now in session. Call in at 936-2626 because your voice matters. Share your opinion on issues that matter the most to you.
Mga kabayan, nakatutok po kayo sa Cold Hard Truth, hatid ni Sandy Hill, ang nangungunang talk show sa Cayman, ang boses ng masa.
People talking, what are they talking about? This world's gone crazy, and I'm trying to find a way out. Nobody knows where we're going, or if we're going at all. Nobody cares if we sin, if we have nowhere to fall. It's a singing symphony, playing as the ship goes down. It's a porcelain epiphany, breaking if it hits the ground. I gotta find a way out. So many questions answered with an answer to tell. Too many things on my mind for anything to go well. It's a singing symphony, playing as the ship goes down. It's a porcelain epiphany, breaking if it hits the ground. I gotta find a way out.
righty. Good morning, K-Man. Rise and shine time. How y'all doing, honey chill? You know what? I haven't had to play that Rise and Shine song in quite some time. So we got a full day of news for you guys today, of course. You got it locked right here on K-Man's #1 talk show. You know why? Because we bring you things that nobody else does. I have to chuckle. Did you guys see the editorial that I wrote this one? I put up on, was it Friday? I can't even remember now. The days start to blur together. But yes, this is about people still trying to come at CMR. They're upset with us, talking about how powerful we are, apparently. And, they want their candidates on the show. And we're like, okay, well, your candidates needed to do what they needed to do. It was pay to play time. They needed to organize themselves. That ain't got nothing to do with me. So they're all up in their feelings. So I responded to them, and I don't have the time, the energy, the resources to respond to these people anymore. It's just ridiculous. I've said my piece. You can go read it. I might do it in a video editorial because I know you guys don't like to read. I know. Trust me, I know. I know, y'all. I know my people. And then somebody showed me Frank Cornwall decided to share it in the pro-port group. Well, what can I say? I probably don't have a lot of fans in that pro-port group because they don't want the people to be educated on the port issue. There's a lot of people that are undecided and they want information. And we try to do that. We try to provide the information to the people of the Cayman Islands. I don't have a stake in the port, one way or the other. And so we've done our best to just put, information out there. The Ministry of Tourism and Ports, they have provided their side and what the ship's CEOs are saying. And we've shared that, they had a campaign and we put that out there. So people are getting information on both sides of that issue. But of course, the pro-port people, they don't operate necessarily from a place of logic. I mean, it's weird to me because you would think that you'd want as much information out there as possible for people to make a decision. But what I've discovered is they just want a particular narrative out there. And so, Elio, bless his little soul, bless his little heart. He's on Straight Talk every day pushing for it. And I understand that show is actually sponsored by the pro-port people. So, yeah, okay. We have put both positions out there because those organizations pay, just like I said, pay to play. You pay for a message, your message gets out there, and it's up to the people of this country to use their discerning ability to make decisions, right? Now, I think they're really, what would them young people say? They're butthurt because Ms. Marla's show was quite impactful. She just came with facts. She's a woman who also doesn't have any skin in this game. And so she just came with facts. And a lot of people are like, wow, they were blown away by her facts. And so I guess that's kind of what has them up in their feelings even more. I don't really know. And of course, we do have an incredible reach here. Thank you guys so much for that, because you're the ones who make it the #1 platform. So the madness to me is people who somehow think that because poor little Sandy has worked her fingers to the bone and they don't understand business because, most of them don't have a successful business, that they just want to dictate how I should be running my show and telling me just to have people on just because they need to come on here to have a say. Well, my apologies for the background noise. They've had more than ample time to sort out their campaign. In fact, the irony of it is some of them I actually met with before TCCP. TCCP is the only group, let me clarify in case you guys missed the memo, who've actually signed a contract. And so good for them. We have individuals who signed a contract. Now, let me be clear. We have individuals who are part of groups who have signed contracts. Kenneth Bryan, he has a contract. He hasn't been on here yet. Well, he came on once, I should say, proper. But that wasn't really campaign season. He came on to tell us why he was switching to, what's it called? PPM. So the rest of them are up in their feelings. Well, That has nothing to do with me. You know, people get they get the appearances, they get the time on the platform. That's what they're paying for. And so people need to just figure it out and honestly just relax themselves, because this narrative about, oh, see, CMR is so biased and CMR is so this. If I have a bias, trust me, it's not anything that is being hidden. You guys know exactly where I stand. How many of you, just by a show of hands, yeah, don't worry, I know you weren't seeing me. You know the little circle I used to have with me in the middle? I'll put that where it's just blank now, so I'm still here. All right, so yes. So how many of you, by show of hands, have any confusions about where I stand on John, Juliana O'Connor, Connolly? I mean, it's a talk show. All talk shows have a bias element to them. I can assure you of that. So, in fact, you know, people are confusing the different elements of the program, which I've said before. And that's too bad for them. I don't know what to say. Y'all need to just figure it out, and you will figure it out. Over the weekend, my dear husband shared a podcast link with me. I'm going to see if I can play it. It's from The Daily, which is the New York Times. Is that the Times or Washington? I think it's the Times. And so, you know, he listens to a lot of podcasts, and he said to me, Sandy, listen to this one with an open ear. Now, when he says that to me, he already knows it's something I'm probably going to be rolling my eyes at. And so I did listen to it. He's like, you got to listen to this. And it was very, very interesting. It's The Daily, which I think is New York Times. And the interesting thing about it is an interview with Megyn Kelly, right? I'm going to see if I can download this, but it's an interview with Megyn Kelly where she talks about embracing her bias and rejecting the old rules. And so, to be clear, she's a big time Trump supporter. So that's why he was telling me. He was like, just listen with an open ear. And I did listen to the whole thing. She's a former Fox News and current YouTube host on her professional evolution. But she's talking about conservative media and how she has, you know, really done something quite different, she thinks, and whatever. And I could see the parallels between what she's saying and what I have done in the space of media in the Cayman Islands. Nobody likes anyone who comes in and interrupts the status quo. Let's be very, very clear. And the funny thing about it is that there are people who have had biases, for a very, very long time. And those people who've had those biases, you know, you never question them for the most part. It's so funny because you guys might remember and you might recall when Cayman Compass went too far back in the day under Mr. Levy. What was his name again? Was it Levy? Oh gosh, I don't think that's his name. I can't remember his name now. Shows you how irrelevant he was in those scheme of things, right? Somebody remind me of his name. You know, the one guy who owned it and was talking about, oh, Cayman is so corrupt. So this is when the whole thing was going on with FIFA and Caymanian. Oh gosh, what's the football guy's name again? Oh, Lord have mercy. Help me out here. Help me out, students. But anyway, you know, the government said, oh no, they're being biased. And they actually stopped advertising with the Compass for a hot minute. Of course, Al didn't make that last very long. And the entire House agreed that that would be the position and that would be the case. So to say that media don't have biases is Jeff Webb, and who was the editor of the Compass at the time? I forget what his name is. Leggy, thank you so much. Yes, that little troll. So, you know, people, you got to get over it. I mean, listen, the beauty of choice is that you don't have to listen to these people. Act like they're forced to listen to CMR. I'm like, who's forcing you? Nobody's forcing you to listen. It's like they're in their feelings, they're upset, but then they admit that, oh, we've created this amazing product that everybody wants to tune in, everybody wants to listen to. Already we've got over 400 people on social media listening this morning. I'm just like, listen, we have more important things to be discussing than you guys trying to worry about CMR's business model and figure it out. It's a very simple model. right? So you see people, on the platform. I put something down I need to find. You see people on the platform, you see people getting attention. That's because they pay for it. Let me give you two examples. We have in the District of West Bay Central, both of those candidates are paying customers. Kathy is not an individual paying customer, but obviously she's part of TCCP. Both her and Jewel get their videos shared on our platform. It is what it is. Does that mean I favor one over the other? They're both paying customers. Yeah. There's some people who came along and they're like, well, how are you going to handle if my competitor's on there? And I'm like, you're both paying customers, right? And if you have the same package, you're going to be getting the exact same thing. So how would you like me to handle it? Up to last week, I had no less than three candidates. And again, I'm not trying to embarrass these people. So, Justin, if you want me to delve into the whole 9 yards of it all, I can tell you that your preferred group, which is CINP, isn't going to really come out smelling like a bag of roses if I go into all the details of how we've gotten here and how we've gotten to the point where they're not advertising. It really is not going to look favorable to them at all. I'm just saying, these are the facts. Because it's going to demonstrate a lack of severe disorganization that is like absolutely shocking. Now, Justin, if you keep it up, I'm going to go there and just tell the people once again the cold hard truth. Because you're trying to make me look like I've denied them access, and that's not what has happened at all. They were just completely disorganized. If I tell you how many conversations I've had up to this past week, like I was just about to say, 3 candidates came forward saying, oh, can we get exposure? We want to sign up a package. I'm like, the last month of the election, you want to sign a package? Now, let me be clear. Some people have a philosophy that money is money. Okay? I have a philosophy that not all money is good money. When I say that, when you come in at the last minute and you want to advertise for 1 month, and I went through the last election, and that's why there's certain parameters I've put in place as it relates to the current election, right? You want to have the same attention, the same packages, the same everything as people who have been with me for 6 months, and that can't work. And then you're going to want preference, like, oh, well, I have a meeting at this time, and somebody else who was with you for 5 months has a meeting at that time, but I want it just is too much. So experience has taught me that not all money is good money, especially when it's going to cause havoc in your business and, stress your resources. And sometimes you just have to say no to money. It's as simple as that. It's a sad situation because had they been organized, they would have been just fine. I spoke to them from November. We had meetings, November, December, phone calls. They reached out to third parties. Oh, I think we've been miscommunicating. And all now, those third parties who claim that they were going to call me still haven't called me. I do not like people who are disorganized, okay? So Irvlin says, am I drawing on my brows? That's just a little, not even drawing, not even with a pencil. That's just a little, what do you call it? Mascara, child. Auntie be trying a little thing to at least make it look like I have brows still. Anyway, if you're disorganized, I'm not the person for you. Miss Juanita, joining us from Georgia. Hey, honey child, you vacationing or what? So you guys will be fine. I think most people see us for what we are. If you don't like the way that we do things, like I said, there are choices out there. You can certainly go and watch something else, and life just continues, and y'all will be just fine. What I find so peculiar is people who claim that they don't like it are here every morning listening. Why? Just stop listening. I mean, it's just weird. Somebody sent me a screenshot from Justin's comment, and somebody, I think it was Miss Omeria, said something like, oh, it's not that I don't like Sandy. I just don't like how she talks about people. And I'm like, Miss Amelia, no hard feelings. I think you're a lovely person. I certainly don't have any hard feelings either. But why listen? You know the platform. You know how we do it. And if that's not your cup of tea, then don't torture yourself. I don't believe in torturing yourself. Why listen to something you don't like how it's done? That's like you believe in self-torture. You shouldn't do that to yourself. So do me a favor and do yourself a favor so that you don't even have to get to the point of making these comments. Simply don't listen. And then you won't get agitated by how I talk about people or any of the things that I say. Seems pretty clear to me. Someone was asking me about Dexter Rivers. You see this Dexter Rivers here? Someone said, Sandy, is this the Dexter Rivers that always calls into your program? And I said, no, I don't know which Dexter Rivers this is on Facebook, but I suspect, like many names, there must be more than one Dexter Rivers. So early to class. Good morning, honey child. So they said, this is the Dexter that calls in jokes on commenting on Justin's thing. And I said, nah, I don't know how many Dexter Rivers there are in Cayman, but I'm pretty sure that that's not him. And once again, everybody else is going to be just fine. Go to who else is giving you unbiased election coverage? Is it the Compass? Because I don't read the Compass, trust me, but somebody said to me on Saturday, they were asking, let me see if I can go on it. Cayman Compass. Let's see. Someone said to me, obviously they're the preferred choice for PPM and stuff, right? And so someone said that their position and who's leading and all this sort of stuff is like, it just doesn't make any sense, right? So like I said, well, I mean, I don't read them, like I said. So I don't know where they've gotten their information from. I don't know how their polls are done or anything like that. But I think they said like Chris Saunders is going to be, for example, running for next premier or making up the government or some foolishness that we know just isn't going to happen. So I thought it was kind of weird when the person said it to me. They're like, I don't quite understand how this is even possible. And I said, well, maybe that's their bias. They've got the PPM in the runnings. And I can tell you, I'm not taking anything to the bank. I'm not a gambler. Well, someone bet me $1. Someone bet me a single dollar on one of the elections that I'm calling. And I said, all right, I'm not really a bettor, but I'll take the dollar. I'll take the dollar from them. Somebody else owes me a steak dinner. I'll do little things like that. But listen to me now. The sad thing about this whole fiasco is I know that some of the things that they are coming up with and some of the things that they're saying just doesn't make any sense. So I don't know where they're getting that from. I can't speak to that. Okay. I'm focused on my ears on the ground. Sorry, you're saying Justin, but it's Jordan Rivers running. No, I'm talking about Justin. No. Okay. Stick a pin. Don't confuse me now. I'm actually talking about Justin, who is his uncle, who lives in Texas. Yes. The same one who went in Capitol Hill and it was part of the insurrection. He's the one who's pushing this. He claims he wrote it. We all know AI wrote it for him, but he's the one who's pushing this narrative out there about me on his page. And he's gotten a few people. So that's Justin. Justin Frazier is his name. So I'm well aware of who he is. Don't make my brain start thinking Jordan, because then I'll accidentally be calling Jordan's name. So yes, it's Justin who's posted this foolishness. And I guess, some of you read it going, yay, chat GPT, whatever. I mean, bias in media. It doesn't happen anywhere in the world except CMR. Oh my gosh. Yeah, y'all will be all right. But not for nothing, go and read my editorial piece, because I think you'll find that I've responded to Justin quite straightforward. All right. And Here's this part that's interesting. And in my submission, I say they claim CMR is biased, but they never made those accusations against legacy outlets that consistently protect the elite. They say Sandra is divisive, but what they really mean is she's not controllable. Listen, I'm here for the little guy. I don't care about all these other people. I don't care about the elites of the world. They're fine. We don't have to worry about them because they'll always be fine. They got the upper hand in life because money gives you the upper hand. So let's be very, very clear about that, right? So I'm here to be the voice of the average person, and everybody else, all the Justins of the world out there fighting in Capitol Hill, he'll be fine. All right, let's keep it moving because we got exclusive news. Somebody says, as if Fox not biased, everybody, Fox, CNN, it's fine. Someone says, I hope the Compass doesn't stop printing newspapers because we will lose material to clean windows and start fires. You probably shouldn't use that to start fires with. But anyway, someone said, good morning. The regular caller to your show is Dexter Ebanks, not Dexter Rivers. I think there might be more than one Dexter Rivers, though. Is there not? I don't even know. But I think there might actually be. But somebody else says, good morning. Mr. Dexter is Dexter Ebanks. He is your regular caller, joke teller. Dexter Rivers is a retired banker, and he was with Butterfield Bank. Oh, yeah, that makes sense, huh? Yes, they'll be fine. Thank you, Miss Magdalene. She clarifies it as well. She says Dexter's name is Ebanks, the one that calls your show. So people, yes. So hopefully that person who queried it now knows that there's a Dexter Ebanks and a Dexter Rivers. All right. Thank you guys so much. A-class students right there. Happy Monday, Shaka. He's a PPM member, this person says. That's why. Of course. Yes. Oh, yes. What does he look like? Yeah, that makes sense. PPM is hard up in their feelings. But listen, the funny thing is, Joey and I recently had a very good conversation, 46 minutes long. And, Joey, I think him and I will have a very different relationship than we did with their previous leader. At least he'll answer questions. I've been able to talk to him. And he said to me, so all PPM people, those of you who were in your feelings, please understand, they have decided that they don't want to advertise in CMR this go around. Last time, yes, I did turn them down under Alden. This time, Joey called and explained to me that apparently they have made the decision because they don't want to hurt Barbara's feelings. So listen, I can't tell them what to do. It's their money. So they don't want to hurt her feelings. So that's fine. I mean, if that's how you make decisions, that's fine. Yeah, don't hurt her feelings. Yes, honey, child, let's not hurt her feelings, but lose the election. Anywho, it's perfectly fine. It's fine. So, listen, the other thing is they want to say that, I only have things to say about the people who are not advertising. Well, that's not true. If you guys actually paid attention and if you listened, you would see that even in the election cycle, your questions get answered. Some of your questions and calls and comments are not favorable to the people who are on, and we ask the questions regardless. And also, most of these people, I wouldn't say most, but quite a fair number of them have been called out. But you only get called out if you're doing something. So, you only get called out if you, like Heyman, like what he did made no sense. Chris Saunders, you get called out for a specific reason. You're not getting called out for no reason at all. So let us be clear about that. Good morning, caller. Oh, I cannot hear you. Give me 1 second. I'm going to call you back. I'm just going to restart the phone. Yes, sometimes I have to restart this phone. All right, quick restart. And then we're going to get to that caller. So yes. But if you'd be paying attention, even the other day, I like Natasha. I'm going to tell you guys that. I'm not hiding. Do you guys not know when I like somebody? I'll say I like them. I like Natasha. Now she misstepped with a question, and if you guys were paying attention, you heard me call her out. And she's part of TCCP. And you know what I'm saying? It is what it is. I've called out Emily. You guys remember? I'm like, where's Emily? What's she doing? And so once again, if you are biased, you're not going to hear that because you don't want to hear that. You hear and see what you want to see. It's called cognitive bias, and you should look it up because, yes.
We're sorry, but this account has been barred from making outgoing calls. Thank you. From Flo.
Blocked me again. Speaking of which, why do I have a bill for over $200 with Flo when I'm supposed to have a toll-free number? I think somebody forgot to activate the toll-free number. Call me back, honey Chiao. My apologies. I messaged them over the weekend, and I was wondering if it was this number, you know. Hold on, I'm messaging El Ray right now. I bet you somebody charging me. I bet you they're charging me for toll-free stuff. Good morning, caller. Where's Lee
Good
at
morning.
Flo? I messaged him too. Yes,
Good
sir.
morning, Sunday.
Good morning.
I'm almost as popular as you are.
I know.
They can call me anything but Donald Trump.
Oh my gosh.
Now that I'm 76 years old, I just want to apologize to the people I called old at 50 when I was 18 years of age.
Yes. Okay.
Let them call me. At least I'm remembered, you know.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. But for the record, you're not next Rivers.
No, I don't. I talk to him, but I don't know who. Other than that, you know. But anyway, keep up the good work, Sunday.
I appreciate it, darling. Have a good one.
All right. Okay,
Happy
bye.
Monday. Yes, you know, I need Flo to get on this for me because I did actually, funny enough, I don't want you guys to think I'm lying now. You guys know I don't lie. But funny enough, I did send them a message. I think it was last night when I saw this bill for $200-something. I'm like, why do I have a bill for that when I don't really use this phone? And so I wonder if somebody forgot to, I don't know what they forgot to do. So now they've got me barred for that. Lord Jesus, Flo, sort yourselves out, please. But yeah, here's the email I sent last night to Lee. I'm like, Lee, which phone number is this? I'm not so sure this is the right bill. Can you sort it out for me? Oh my gosh. All right. Somebody says it's 8 o'clock. I have a work meeting. Please get to this, Sos Auntie. So see, I emailed them. I'm like, can you check which account this is? I'm not sure why it's that much. So something's wrong with my billing. $207. Oh my gosh. Come on, Flo. All right, we'll get that sorted out. I guess you guys have to call me today. Shaka Zulu says Mr. Dexter is a legend for real. Should think so to Mr. Dexter, says Miss Sue. Dewey, good morning. Blessed Monday to you, darling. Jean says it'll be the best thing ever to happen to Caymanians in history of the country. Blah, 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 blah. Build a cruise line said so. Oh, my God. Philip says Justin is a big MAGA supporter. Same tactics as his orange leader. Speaking of MAGA supporters, so there was a question that came in some time ago about a political group and that their appointed leader is a big-time Trump supporter. And yes, he is. And they had Trump parties and rallies and everything. And I mean, you know, that's their prerogative. But after the question was asked, apparently they're now trying to back away from the fact that he's a big-time Trump supporter and telling people, no, he's not. Come on, Dan Scott. We know you love Trump. Own it. This is what I say. Just like Justin is a big MAGA supporter, he was there on Insurrection Day, you know, trying to take down Capitol Hill. You have to own it. He came on the program. Go back and watch the show for those of you who missed it. It was a very, very telling and interesting interview. But, you know, Dan, if you love Donald Trump and you love what he's doing to America, and you said he was going to solve all their financial problems, now he's actually pushing them into a recession. Even interestingly enough, I was watching some news last night, it's even going to impact the UK because a large percentage of the cars that are exported, now the UK is not a huge car exporter, but they're number 6 on the list for the United States of America. And I think they're like number 90 something for where they send it to. America is their number 1 export location. And so even them are going to be hit by these tariffs. And if you don't think that that's going to have a trickle-down effect on us, y'all need to come on now. That's how it works. So in any event, yep. That was last night's show. All right. So good. Everybody crystal clear. You know, if you're a Trump supporter, just admit it. Yeah, see? There's Dominic. Dominic says Trump, love him. Go for it. And lots of interesting things coming out of the US. The children will soon have to go to work because now that they've impacted the migrant workers, they have nobody to work the fields. Talk about the cost of living going up with these things. I need y'all to pay attention to how this is going to work. And so now they want to change the child labor law so that 14-year-olds, instead of getting an education, which is what a 14-year-old should be focused on, which they're dismantling education anyway, so not going to probably matter much. Instead of getting an education, they want them out in the fields working, and they want to change it where they don't get certain guaranteed rights to breaks and stuff like that. Go Trump. Child labor. Go Trump. Okay. Their big guy there in health has quit because of the misinformation being pushed about vaccines. Go Trump. You're soon going to have uncontrollable measles. You're going to have diseases that were eradicated coming back in the United States of America. You're going to have terrorist attacks because you're tearing apart all of your security. You know, great. We're in for a rough, not just 4 years, because Trump has already said he's going to be seeking a 3rd term, which is constitutionally at this point impossible. But apparently, whatever Trump wants, he gets. He will change the Constitution of the United States and make it possible for him to be a dictator for life. So there you go. Go Trump. Who else is with me on the Go Trump situation? All right. So listen, a couple really big stories we're working on for you this morning. One of them is going to be a CMR exclusive, and it is about a prison inmate who says he was assaulted by a prison guard. We will drop the story today, but we have reached out to the prison and the ministry responsible for that. Does that still fall under John? And hopefully they'll respond to us. We've also reached out to the police because he has given a police statement. But this man is actually being denied. Listen to this. He was assaulted. Something definitely went down. He showed me his injuries, and he is being denied medical attention. So this is really quite something. Now, you guys know, unfortunately, the prison has blocked the prisoners from being able to call me. Imagine that. My number's blocked. I'm probably the only number that's blocked from the prison. I'll tell you that much. So they have blocked my number so the prisoners can't call me. But trust me when I tell you, where there's a will, there's a way. That's all I'm going to say. And on that note, I'm going to sip my tea. Any prisoner who wants to talk to me, there's a way to do it. That's all I'm going to say. I ain't saying nothing else, because we don't want the authorities to know how smart you prisoners are. It wasn't even me that thought of it. It's the prisoners. But don't worry. They speak to me if they want to. So he's gotten his story out there, and we are going to be working on that. Yes, sir. Irvin says murder. Oh my God. Go prisoners. I mean, when you're in there, you still have certain rights. I mean, I don't believe in beating the prisoners and whatever, Mind you, I'm also not the person who is going to say that, they have, that they have right to lobster. That's a very, very different situation. Yes. So stay tuned for more on that front. Anywho, yep. Anywho, oh. Flo is responding to me now, so. All righty. I haven't seen a bill that high yet, so I want to make sure. I'm not just paying them money just to pay them money. All right, we'll get it sorted out. Okay, good. So yes, we're working on that story for you, so stay tuned for that. We'll get that sorted out here. And over the weekend, a couple of things happened. Oh, what? All right, so all right, I see where the situation is. All right. So the other situation is obviously Capella was this weekend. Big shout out to Kenny and those guys on Capella Success. I know it's a couple years in now. I did not go. I gave my media passes to somebody else to cover for me. So we'll have some videos of that later on. However, although I was not there, I've gotten the source on some things that happened. Here's what you guys need to know. Leon Gold was apparently there trying to get people to give him an endorsement. So Morgan Grant, what's his name? Artist Gramps Morgan. Let me show y'all something. He don't know who he's sitting next to, or he probably would not have done it. So Gramps Morgan, Leon wanted him to do an endorsement of him on stage and give him one of his t-shirts, an endorsement for candidacy. Why would Gramps Morgan do an endorsement for Leon? I mean, Gramps, he don't know nothing about Leon, because like I said, if he did, he might have scooted over a little bit. Although I guess he's not a woman, he's not intoxicated, so he'll be all right. But still, he was up in his feelings because Gramps couldn't get the message on stage to give him a shout out on stage and an endorsement and tell him to vote for him. Tell people to vote for Leon. That's not gonna help Leon. Morgan Gramps don't know you, Papa. So he posted this in his pro port group, or his whatever community group he has, about what an amazing, this is a message from Gramps Morgan and Leon and his wife. And so he thinks that that is going to get him, I don't know, some political favors or whatever. I have no clue. Leon, that's not exactly how it works. So that's not going to help you at all. Oh, look, it's Justin in the comments. Oh my gosh. Justin, you found us. First time since your insurrection interview. Welcome to the program. I'm so glad that you are here. Join the CMR family. I don't know why you're so worried about what we're doing over here, but welcome. Welcome. Justin is Jordan's uncle. So there you have it. Jordan is a candidate in West Bay North. All right, so here's Gramps and what's his name? Leon and Leon's wife next to him. And again, he wanted Leon to vote for him. So yes, that's right, aisle 2025. Bernie Bush did it one time with Fat Joe. Matthew Leslie did it one time with what's the Filipino boxer name? Pacquiao. He had him endorse him. Listen, these people don't know who you are. There's no endorsement from an outside celebrity that's going to make a difference, in my opinion. You guys can tell me what you think. Because again, Justin, this is an opinion-based show that sometimes is biased. Hello, welcome. So yeah, I mean, I don't know that this helps anybody. It certainly isn't going to help Leon. But what I'm more concerned about, because Leon's not getting elected, so we're not going to spend too much time on him. What I'm most concerned about is the fact that the government vehicle that John was driving and that he drove to the event had alcohol, had people that had free access to the vehicle, government vehicle. Pay attention to me now. They had free access to the vehicle. They had alcohol. The trunk of the vehicle was up, and they had alcohol, people sitting in the trunk, sitting in the back, drinking alcohol. They had alcohol on top of the vehicle. France Manderson, somebody, please tell me how a government asset is allowed to be used in this particular way. This makes no sense whatsoever. I am very, very confused in terms of how these vehicles are always being misused. There are people who are smoking in the vehicles, who are, bottles of Vaseline being found in vehicles, making us wonder what the heck are they even doing in these vehicles. There has to be some control over this. And I hope that when the TCCP or whoever else gets in with the next government, they rein this area in where government ministers are not using these vehicles for their own personal cars, because that should not be allowed. It's ridiculous. So the fact that it's happening, and people saw this at the concert on Saturday, I thought was very, very disturbing as it relates to a government asset. Someone said Trump has also signed an executive order to censor museums. Lord, I know, I saw it about the Smithsonian Museum. Listen, the worst thing Trump wants is for anybody to be able to think for themselves, and anybody who's educated. Because if you're an educated person who can think for yourself beyond perhaps your own prejudices, Justin, you will see that what Trump is doing, I haven't seen very much of it, or any of it, to be quite frank, that makes any sense at all. So another person says, ask the cabinet secretary why they don't have any car use policy for ministers' vehicles. Thank you. I have asked this question from last year when the vehicle got in an accident, and I was told that every single one of those vehicles is owned by the ministry. It was not done in a way where there is any central hub. So ordinarily, this is something that should be running through perhaps the protocol office, for example. None of that was done. These ministers went out there and each procured. They moved funds around from one area of government, probably education, because they care less about education. They moved funds around from one area of government to the next in order to procure these vehicles. And now they're using them. It's like a free-for-all. They're using them as their own personal vehicles, which is quite shocking. Even McKeeva Bush has one, and he's not even a minister. Now, I think the one that McKeeva Bush has, which his assistant is driving, this little Spanish young lady. I saw them at the grocery store shopping for personal groceries. So, it's just a free-for-all. How does he get one? He's not even a minister. It is absolutely, absolutely crazy. So, Jane, I would not even engage with Justin. We know who he is. We know what he's all about. All he's doing is making his nephew Jordan look bad. I mean, keep it up, Justin. I mean, whatever. But I wouldn't engage with him, Gene. That's not a battle or a discussion that anybody is going to win. Trust me. You don't argue with certain people, because you might as well be arguing to a brick wall. You will get absolutely nowhere. You're wasting your good typing fingers this morning. Don't chip up your nails. Oh God, don't be like me and have these horrible looking nails. I need to get a manicure. But don't waste your time on Justin. He is really not worth it. Let him stay in the comment section and talk to himself. Okay. That's my suggestion. You can do whatever you want, but I'm just saying. All right. This person says, I became a follower of your channel this weekend. First time for me to follow any news channel. I don't have Facebook or IG, so I can't view these articles or stories. Oh, but honey child, are you in? Thank you so much. Oh, I see. You look like you're a little bit older if that's your profile photo, and we love it. We like older folks. But a lot of stuff is on the website. So it kind of depends though. You know, some stuff only does get posted on social media, honey. I'm assuming you're listening via the radio right now. But let me give you the first thing I'm going to do is instruct you on how to follow us on the WhatsApp channel, because you'll get information that way. And then a lot of stuff is posted on the website. Another person comments, he can have a government vehicle doing all this crap, but for the government employees to support a candidate, they can't wear their colors, not their t-shirt, but this crap can happen and nothing. Yes. Yeah. What a mess, honey child. All right. So, oops, sorry. Washington Boulevard, Windsor Park Group. My apologies. Somebody just reminded me. I did not send the links there. Sorry, doing it right now. Okay, there we go. A little bit late. Thank you for the reminder, honey child. All right, so yeah, we need to read in the policy on these government vehicles. It's just absolutely ridiculous. Shaka Zulu says, is Justin that stupid to not realize he's watching the Cold Hard Truth as an opinionated show? And just had to ask, I think most folks understand that this is an opinionated show. What is he expecting? Something different? Aw, Justin's special. He's all right. Justin, welcome. You know, we're going to extend K-Mankind love to you anyway. You know, we're not going to agree on anything opinion-wise. I'm pretty sure of that. And thank you, by the way, for writing your ChatGPT opinion on me, because, you know, all you do is you get more people, I reckon, listening to the show. Even when you guys sit here and curse and talk about how much you don't like it, you're still here. I think that that's so fascinating. We should do a whole bit on why people watch things that they don't even like. Oh my gosh. Carrie Whitaker says one Tahoe costs $110,000. Oh, we talked about this last year when they procured them, and I cannot I cannot tell you how disturbing that is that our government has that kind of money to waste. It's no wonder we can't get some very, very important, you know, initiatives prioritized because of overspending on $1 million school, $1 million. How much is it going to cost us again? $100 million school, et cetera, et cetera. So what a mess. All right. Did you guys see this weekend? Somebody sent me this, I'll show it to you. Let me show it to you first, and then we'll talk about it. Oh my gosh. That's a rooster, by the way. Is that really the rooster's voice? Sandra! Oh, Sandra! 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 Oh, Sandra! Sandra! Oh my God. Sandra! When I saw this was so funny. And the person captioned it and said, hold on, let me tell you exactly what they said. They said, how PPM look when they see Sandra in the crowd. Good morning. They're idiots. This is what the person sent me yesterday morning. And I had to laugh because, first of all, I'm not there in the crowds. That's what I'm telling you. They are so, I don't know why these guys are, it's a little bit obsessive, Justin. It's a little bit obsessive for you to be worrying about what I'm doing over in my little corner. I mean, honestly, oh my God. But anyway, I don't go to their meetings like that. You know, they're not a client, so there's really no reason for me to be there. And I'll tell you what, I also, there's no requirement, my apologies, for me to be working their event. So I'm not a person who a lot of times just go to political meetings just for the fun of it. I don't have that kind of time. Very busy. So in fact, what happens is when you see me at these meetings, I'm there working. Okay. Somebody said, please send me that rooster. It's the best thing that I have seen in a really long time. This was the message that accompanied it. They said, how PPM look when they see Sandra in the crowd. So of course, because I'm not in the crowd when I posted it, I changed the caption a little bit and said, you know, how PPM carry on about me, because they're always calling my name at their meetings. One more time. Let's play it one more time so you can have another belly laugh.
Oh, Sandra! 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 Oh, Sandra! Sandra!
Oh my God. Roar came out and says, no, the rooster sound is Indian. It is? Someone said you should make a ringtone with that. I need to do something with that because that is classic. Oh my God. I absolutely love it. Thank you so much for the person who sent that to me. Listen, you've got to be able to laugh at yourself. You know, laughter is good for the soul. So these memes that they be making about me, sometimes those memes have me cracking up. They've made so many stickers of me now. Like if I do something, they make a little sticker. Oh, I'm here for it. What can I tell you? It's hilarious. It is just funny. Somebody said they spit out their morning coffee yesterday when they heard it. Oh my goodness. All right. So we do have a video feature for you guys this morning. You are going to be tickled pink. Somebody said I just choked on my pad thai. Oh God. Please don't choke. I just heard that Hunter dropped out of the race. Does he get his money back if true? He did? Where is that? Send it to me. But not to the best of my knowledge. If he drops out, you know, then I don't think he gets any money back. But show me where he said that, because I know he makes a video about everything. So it must be in a video somewhere. All right. Let me see here. Before we get to the interview, real quick. This guy, Jeremy Meeks. You guys remember Jeremy Meeks? He's coming to some fashion show in Cayman, and everyone wants to know, how did he get a work permit to be able to come to Cayman, given that he's an ex-convict? I can tell you, Lady S, you are not the only one this morning who's asking this question. Someone else has come and asked the exact same question. And so I have already reached out to the powers that be over at WORC, and I've asked them the question. Remember, he was the guy with the really cute eyes, and he was a convict, like he has the teardrops, which, tell me again, does a teardrop mean that you killed somebody? I don't even know with these gangs, what they're up to. But, or he's murdered somebody, or he's crying about somebody murdered. I don't know, something. So Jeremy Meeks is apparently coming to Cayman for a fashion show. Mind you, after he got out of jail, Jeremy Meeks went big time because he is a decent looking guy. I mean, if you're just going for the looks. Did he remove his tattoos? Wait a minute. Did he get rid of his tattoos? What? He cleans up nicely. Oh, no. It's still there. The teardrop is still there. So anyway, he's got these really pretty eyes. And remember a couple of years ago, all of the ladies were going gaga over him. So apparently he is coming here now to participate in a fashion show. Listen, Jeremy cleaned himself up. He found himself some billionaire lady, had a child with her. some billionaire heiress. I forgot what her dad owns, something or another. Left his wife and the other kids, and he leveled up. Now, I don't think him and the billionaire are together anymore. But anyway, he's apparently going to be in Cayman. So some of y'all desperados, get ready. Jeremy Meeks is coming. Jailbait. There you go. Yes, Jerry. That mugshot really made him go viral. And I mean, he's not a bad looking guy, but Lord, there's a lot of good looking guys that are not in jail. All right. So, oh Lord, another shooting in Miami. Go figure. All right, let me correct one thing before we move on here this morning as well. Okay. So someone has asked me to correct this by way of election misinformation. So apparently, there is a rumor in Red Bay, y'all are confusing your candidates, I think, that has something to do with people going around, and this is probably just the opposition trying to stir up trouble. I mean, I don't know who these people are, because this is ridiculous. So apparently, someone is going around saying that Natasha is in a relationship or is married to a woman. And so a family member of hers has said, Sandy, please use your vast reach to correct this. Thank you for advising Instagram. We'll restart Instagram. Thank you so much. Every hour we have to restart Instagram. So yeah, so someone has said to me, please, Sandy, help us correct this misinformation. Miss Natasha is not in a relationship with any woman. She is completely straight, only interested in men. And so there's some confusion here. And I think what's happening here is they're confusing her with another candidate in Red Bay who happens to be a member of the LGBTQ plus community. So we got this request. And so I just want to put it out there that for the record, let us clarify this, that, you know, we've got 630 people now in the live stream. Please, we'll post it on social media. Natasha has been in a relationship. You guys know she was in a relationship with Isaac previously. She's not married to a woman. She's not in a relationship with a woman. She's not into that at all. This person says she's probably mixing her up with Dawn. And I think that's right. I mean, I don't think Dawn hides that about herself. So please don't confuse the two candidates in that regard. Now, here's my take on it. That shouldn't make a difference to any of you when it comes to voting time. You vote for the most qualified person. But there are people in this community who are still hating on the LGBT community and trying to push this narrative, just like Morny Boots or Bolts or whatever the heck his name is. Remember when he was doing that as well? Just the other day, and we had to set him straight. So I'm sure there are more people who are undercover. We've talked about some sitting MPs, speakers of the House, and et cetera, who are out there proposition men all the time, and they're married for 40-something years. So, I have more of an issue with that only because they're lying. So anywho, there's that. Someone says, and there are a lot of good-looking guys who should be in jail. Yes. Oh, yes. She's the heiress for a Formula One car racing thing. Her dad is that guy. All right. Thank you so much. All right. So we got it. Oh, Lord, this thing is still downloading. Oh, my God. This is the biggest file download I have ever done, I think. It still says it has 8 minutes left. Jeez, I'm peace. This isn't a 1 terabyte connection, is it not? Lord Jesus. All right. We're going to keep talking until this video is ready. I left this running from last night. I think we might have to find a way to compress this video because this is pretty next level. I mean, I have a 1 terabyte connection. And it's taken all night long running this. So I'm going to speak to my videographer. We probably need to find a way. And I bet you if it's taken this long, this file is going to be too big. Let me see. 40 gigs? What? Why is it 40 gigs? I don't know if I'm going to be able to play that. Wow. That's a huge file. No. We got to find it. I think, did he send me the raw file? That's crazy. I'll talk to him. In the meanwhile, this is what I'm going to do. Give me a second here, because there's more than one way to do things, and we believe in just getting on with it. I think that I should be able to play it from Dropbox. So let me do that, because a 40 gig file, that's crazy. That's next level crazy. I don't think I'm going to be able to play that. That's ridiculous. All right. So let me see if I can, hold on. Yes. Let me see if I can play it directly from Dropbox, and then we will watch it together. I wonder if this is, oh my gosh, that's next level. All right. So let me try a thing. I'm going to do full screen. Yes. And this is how we're going to do it. I might have to cancel that. How much RAM do you have? I don't know. I'd have to go check. All right. So let's do it this way, because right now time is of the essence and we can't be playing with a file that size. All right. More than one way to skin a cat. I'm actually going to cancel that download. Mind you, I do have a 32 terabyte drive, but jeez. All right. Sit back, folks. Listen and enjoy this interview with none other than Mr. Robert Bodden. We had an opportunity to catch up with Robert Bodden recently. Keep in mind that these interviews are an opportunity for you to get to know the candidates a little bit. 1 gigabyte, sorry. Yes, thank you, Audrey. Not a terabyte. I'm thinking hard drive space when I say terabyte. Yeah, so these interviews are meant to get you to know the candidates more on a personal level. They're not meant to be political interviews. They're not meant to be, their positions and whatever. No. That's not what this is. Sit back, relax. Let's have a chat with none other than Mr. Robert Bodden, running for Bodden Town East. All right, we are here with Robert Bodden, candidate for Bodden Town East. I always get the East and the West mixed up, so I gotta make sure I get it right. So good to have you sit down with us for one of our candidate feature interviews, Robert.
Thank you.
What a beautiful day.
Beautiful.
Yeah, we're here at the Mission House in Bodden Town. It's a historical district, once the capital of Bodden Town, obviously. So we want to get to know you a little bit more, and hopefully help your voters also get to know you a bit more as well as an individual.
Correct.
So tell us a little bit about Robert the Kid.
In Bodden Town.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you've lived your entire life in Bodden Town?
Well, okay, let me start. So I was born in Jamaica.
Okay.
My mom was from St. Elizabeth, Jamaica.
Okay.
At the time, my dad was sailing out of Jamaica, just like many seamen at the time.
Yes.
When he stopped sailing and decided to come back home was 1967. So I came here at 2 years old. I know absolutely nothing about Jamaica. And at the time in our history, a lot of Caymanians were born there, either by families working there, or if they had any complications in pregnancy, then they would go overseas. So came here at 2, moved to my grandparents.
So hold on a second.
Yeah.
St. Elizabeth?
St. Elizabeth, Jamaica.
My grandfather and my mother's side is from St. Elizabeth, so we could be family.
Family, yes.
You never know.
So her surname was Sims. I don't know if any of you are back.
Well, we were Barnes, but
right.
we might have to do the whole ancestry thing and figure
exactly,
it out. Yes,
exactly. So we came here at 2. We first stayed at, we call it the Old Homestead, which was on the main street of Bodden town. It was a little wooden house, 3-bedroom house, and that was shared. That was shared with my two aunts and my grandfather. So at the time, it was my dad and I, and we added 2 more siblings into that 1-bedroom.
So you're the eldest child?
I'm the eldest child of Haldane Bodden, Joseph Haldane Bodden. First barber in Cayman, or one of the first barbers in Cayman. My mom was Pauline Bodden. So we grew up here in Bodden town. Went to school at Bodden town Primary School. At that time, growing up, that would have been the very early 70s. So the churches were the hub of entertainment in the district. So it's kind of funny because my grandmother started the Seventh-day Adventist church in Bodden town right in her kitchen. My 2 aunts were Seventh-day Adventists. Aunt Ruth was Church of God, and my grandfather was Presbyterian. So growing up, we spread our weekends going Seventh-day Adventist, Church of God, and Presbyterian.
Oh, wow.
But we mainly stayed because of my dad, Presbyterian. So at an early age, we went through the Boys Brigade. That was implemented by Reverend Magoo at the time. So I was amongst, most kids my age at that time. We didn't have the Scouts Association in Bodden town. I don't know why, but we formed the British arm of the Boys Brigade. And we had a gentleman out of Scotland came and set it up. And I think that went through all of the Presbyterian arms of the churches, the Boys Brigade. So I went on to become a Boys Brigade leader in that regiment. From there, I went on to the government high school, John Gray. I graduated in 1982. 1982, I was lucky enough, I came straight out of school and went to KIPCO was my first job. That was being managed by Brian Bothwell, who was at the time one of our Caymanian managers in the financial industry.
Oh, wow. Now, hold on. You're going quick. We're going to back it up, roll it back just a little bit here. So as a kid, you said that your life really surrounded the church.
Correct.
Which is reminiscent of so many Caymanians, especially back then. There was less to do in terms of entertainment. What else did you do? I mean, you were the eldest.
I played football. So I remember when my cousin Roy came back from Canada. He started the Bodden town football.
Now that's Roy Bodden, as in Roy Bodden.
As in Roy Bodden.
All right.
Roy's my first cousin.
Okay.
And he and Gilbert McLean started the Bodden town football club.
Okay.
So I played with that for a few years. Town football club.
Okay. All right, folks. So give me one quick second here. I understand that our radio has turned off. So let me just play something to try to get the radio to kick back in. I mean, I pumped up the volume, but let's see if we can get radio back in. One quick second, because this is such a lovely interview. I'd like for our radio listeners to continue to enjoy it as well.
Now, Cayman at that time was blossoming. It was the early 80s. It was the beginning of what we call financial services.
Yes.
And Cayman was on fleek, meaning that you could walk out of one door today and go into another job just down the road, right?
Yes.
So I was very independent growing up. My dad, who was a barber, taught us from early age. I'd buy groceries at all of the grocery stores, buy rice,
radio listeners, we're doing our best to try to keep you guys in the loop here. For some reason, the AI tool kicked in. So I've already bumped it up as much as I possibly can without going over. So sit back, radio listeners, and try to listen to this wonderful interview with Mr. Robert Bodden.
H.O. Marin, Kirk Plaza. I even buy groceries at Cayman Foods, which was the grocery store in Red Bay at the time.
Okay.
So I became very independent at a young age. Now, during my early age of growing up, I had a lot of trauma in my life. We lost a brother right in front of my grandparents' house. He was 5 years old, tragically, a car accident.
Oh, wow.
And my mom was pregnant with my youngest brother. Some of you may remember Eddington Bodden, who was a fixture on Radio Cayman. And when he got almost the same age, he was also knocked down coming from church.
Wow.
And that happened right in front of Miss Lorna Bodden's house.
Oh, my
right?
gosh.
So those two accidents took a toll on our family.
Yeah.
And in my early ages of, adulthood, it had an impact on me, right? I sort of blamed myself a lot for what happened.
How old would you have been at the time?
At the first accident, I would have been 5 or 6 years old.
Right.
The second accident, I would have been early teens, 13, 14.
Oh, my goodness.
And it was after that that a separation came in our family. My mom went to the U.S. There was some personal, bickering going between her and my dad, and we weren't sat down as like a family and discussed, right? So
yeah,
I felt like I went through this stage in my life, this feeling of abandonment, right?
And you only had the two brothers, or how many siblings?
I had three brothers.
Okay, and no sisters.
No sisters.
No sisters.
And I was the eldest. So that trauma played a significant role. It scarred me for life, and it had its impact on me, where I got mixed up with the wrong crowd. I was very independent. It was, the most flamboyant times in Cayman. So I got mixed up into, the uses of drugs, right?
And how old would you have been when that started? Because you said
I would have
high school. You went into your first job.
Yeah, I came out of school at 15, so this started in my late teens.
Okay,
right?
so as a teenager.
As a teenager, and that went on to my early to mid 30s. So I had a good 10, 15 years. I struggled back and forth with sobriety.
Yeah.
And it wasn't only till I think this happened when I was as a maintenance worker at the time, which would have been in the late 90s. I was married to Miriam Bodden at the time. We were managing the retreat, and I had bouts of sobriety, and one night I went out on the escapade, and I came home, and I remember through the district, Sigmund Lieber, he had just returned from the States, and one night my brother and I, who's now deceased, was walking down from a local bar, down going home, and we were intoxicated, and he pulled us one side and gave us a pep talk. He said, "I hear you boys is using that thing." So that was how the old people referred to it. I can look back and smile too, because it was part of my journey that I have recovered.
Right.
And he said, when you go home, you look yourself in the mirror and you ask yourself, is this the person that you want to be the rest of your life? And that stayed with me. And I did go home and look at myself in the mirror. I saw that, I was what we would say pickled, right? And when I moved then to the retreat this particular evening, I had went out and I came home. And they say in sobriety, you have to reach your rock bottom in order to change. And during the courses of my sobriety, we had went to a religious meeting that was at the Georgetown Playfield. And there was this tall pastor that spoke there. He was from Jamaica. His name was Benji. And I was drawn to that man because what he was speaking about that night was the Ministers Association and, some of the cliches that go on within the fraternity, even in the religious fraternity. he being an outsider and overcoming those things. And for some reason, I felt comfortable with him, right? So it was a Sunday night that I went out on this escapade, and when I came home, I looked in the mirror. I got on my knees and I cried, and I had a breakdown. I'm like, Lord, I need to change my life. I can't continue doing this forever. And I got my truck at the time, and Benji was the pastor at Pilgrim Holiness Church at North Side. And I remember I walked into the pastor's residence and I knocked on the door. I said, can I speak with you? And he was a little bit taken back. And the first thing he said to me is, do I know you? I said, well, I'm not a member of this church. But it was just most recent that I had seen him. I told him when I had seen him, and tears were in my eyes, He said, come inside. And I sat down and I confessed everything bad, everything that I have done that in my life that was haunting me, right? And I broke down, told him everything. The man did not break my talk. He just sat and he listened. When I finished, he came over and he put his hand on my head, and he prayed with me. From that day, I could feel this burden lifted off of me. It was because for once in my life, I admitted that I was powerless over alcohol and drugs. I had reached the point of no return. And I see where if I had continued on that path of destruction, I would not be here today talking with you. I then became a member of the Pilgrim Holiness Church, Miriam and I, and the congregation of Northside can attest to this. There's people in Northside that can vouch for this story. And I also told my story to the congregation of the church, right? So I say that I can relate to people that have these issues. It's not an easy issue. I'm still a cigarette smoker, right? And that's another addiction that I'm battling. I do drink. I am not a everyday drinker, but I do drink. And I do understand that everything is moderation. I have a young child now, and the smoking has to stop. So
let me talk a little bit about your addiction, right? You said the gentleman, Mr. Levy, said that thing. I'm assuming, I didn't want to make an assumption, so let me just ask you, that thing is which drug? What was your drug of choice?
I have tried marijuana, cocaine, crack cocaine. I have been there and I've done that. I'm not ashamed of my past or wish to close the door on it, right? And I'm just like every other recovering addict on this time. I choose not to drink or use today. I focus on my sobriety. I put God first. I keep myself busy. People, places, and things can't change our situation. You basically have to have a rock bottom episode in your life to understand, well, this is what it is, and this is what I have to do to stay recovered. Nobody's perfect. You understand? Everybody has something that they're battling with, whether it's food addiction, whether it's sex addiction, whether it's phone time on the phone, because right now, that is the biggest distraction anybody has in their lives. It disrupts family time, conversations at the dinner table. So I wanted to get this out, set the record straight. I am not ashamed of who I am, right? Not because I didn't end up in jail or had a conviction doesn't make me any better than the person that went to jail or had a conviction, right? I just chose not to steal and kill and plunder for my addiction, right?
And you mentioned these, in therapy and psychology, we talk about the childhood adverse incidents, right? Events, ACE, I think is what they're called. And a lot of those things lead us down a path in life of having emotional issues, depression, drugs, addictions, other things. And you talked about blaming yourself for what had happened to your brothers, and even how your parents had separated, and then your mother left, and no one had a conversation, because back in those days, Parents didn't really
talk.
Sometimes they weren't even talking to each other, much less the kids, to include them in the family dynamics of what was actually happening. So your mom left. Did she come back? Did she leave?
Yes, she did come back because we had some childhood bouts of I was caught in school smoking. My brother, of blessed memory, he was expelled for smoking weed in school. And as an elder brother, I felt that I hadn't done my part in leading an example. And when it was just my dad there, I felt I had neglected them.
Right.
And to this day, I mean, I break down over it when I think, my youngest brother, it's like every time I see him and we have these deep conversations, I said, please forgive me, because they looked up to me as the eldest of siblings, right? But no one knew the burden I was bearing. Like outside, Robert was fine. He was outgoing, was happy-go-lucky. But inside, it was tearing me up, right? And especially then, when I lost Ricardo, he died as a motorcycle accident in Bodden Town, right? So my blood is in the streets of Bodden Town, right? Tragedy, unfortunately, has affected me, but I'm an overcomer. I have overcome that. So I don't want to lead and dig in too much on the past, because when what is happening in Cayman has this on the belly of society, right? Where incest, where sexual abuse is prevalent until this day. It's a hush hush, and our kids are suffering. The mental abuse that goes on in this country, and you see the depression, the suicide rate back when we were growing up as kids. That was not a part, you never heard of that. But peer pressure and the bullying that goes on, these are serious issues. I did not affect no one with what I did. I was basically affecting me. I was tearing myself down, right? But we have to overcome. And what I hate is I am paying for that today of something that I have overcome. When there's more relative issues here today that is in the forefront that people need to be talking about and addressing, that is not. Everyone has have skeletons in their closet.
Of course.
Well, today I'm talking about mine, because I'm not ashamed of it, and I do not wish to close the door. Yes.
And how long have you now been in recovery, Robert?
Well, from the day that I stopped using, so I would say in my mid-30s, right? That would be late 1990s, maybe, late 1990s, yeah. I'll be 60 in November, okay? So, I'm a recovering addict. I don't look at it, I've had numerous years of sobriety, so to me, that is not my focus, right? They accuse me of drinking. I haven't been in an accident, I haven't gotten a DUI. I don't run up into stationary objects, you understand? So it's just a political propaganda for political expedient at the benefit of me, using me to say I am not worthy. Who are you to judge me, right? I have come clean and said my story. God is the honest man that can judge me. You understand? I have been, and I've asked for forgiveness. What we need to focus on is everyday forgiveness.
Right.
We live in a society where we're unforgiving, right? We don't even know the names of our neighbors next door. I go canvassing door to door, and I'm with a family. And it could be late. I said, well, do you know if the family next door, Caymans, can vote? No, I don't know them. That is sad. We're not coming from that. We're coming where our children was raised like a village, right? I can remember as a kid walking out of Spice Drive to go down or to come up by the town hall to play football. I had Aunt Sunshine on the corner of Guardhouse Hill. Robert, where you going? Your father come home? But I had Miss Lorna that as I came out Spice Drive, she would stop us. She stay right there. Let me call your father if he knows where you are.
Everybody was looking out for
Everybody was looking out. So I don't know how Cayman has gotten to this, right? We have allowed people to come to this country, right, that don't know how hardworking and accepting we are. That's what we need to be focusing, right? The minister of Immigration, Border Control, and Labor, who in 2017 campaigned to say no more work permits, have left their borders open like a sieve, right? These people are coming in, they get off the plane, they already have an apartment booked. They come through customs and they go directly to their little enclave, right? These are the newbies that are coming now, because there are many foreigners that have come to this island and have helped and rebuilt this country that we are proud of, and they have integrated. But the new ones that are coming, they're coming entitled. They're coming.
I'm going to rein it in a little bit because I do want to focus on you.
Yes.
Not on the campaign trail.
Okay.
So, there was 4 of you in total then.
Yes.
And unfortunately, you lost 2 brothers in tragic accidents. So you go to your first job. What did you do you said it was at Citgo?
Yeah.
What did
so
you do at your
I was
first
in
job?
security. So Citgo was a trading business.
Yes.
So I was in securities. I worked on the Flo Dixon, Brent McLean.
Okay.
And what's his name? I think I just drew a blank. Dave Cohen.
Okay.
So we were the young guys at Kitco.
Yes.
But it was very monotonous and routine. And I'm a type of person I like mingling with people.
Yeah.
And I didn't see the fit. So when I resigned, Cayman was so small, I did an interview with Cable and Wireless and Customs. And my boss called me, and when they were surprised, he had heard all that through the grapevine.
Yeah. That's when the Mall Road was
that's
real,
when
real
that's when
small
the
back then.
Yeah, Barefoot Man made a song about Cayman Mall Road. So he moved me up into accounting. I was doing well, but it was the same thing. It was just every day was different. So I went to Customs.
Okay.
And I became a custom officer. I was a boarding officer. And that would have been 83. So I had a short stint with Customs, and I had an personal incident, where there was an altercation with a policeman. It was an off-duty thing. Anyway, I was suspended eventually because I lost the case. But I reapplied and appealed, and I went back and I had a second 2 years at Customs. So all in all, I had about 4 years with Customs.
Okay.
I remember at the time I met the people who was building Mariners Gold through, customs inspections and so on and so forth. And I got to know them personally, and they had a 52 unit complex, and they asked me if I'd be interested in doing property management in the afternoons.
Okay.
So I said, sure. I was 19 years old, and 2 hours every evening, I went to Mariners Gold from.
They had 52 units at Mariners Gold?
Yeah, 52 units.
I didn't realize it was that big.
Yeah. They were all wooden. Yeah. So I did 2 hours. I think it was like 5 to 7 each evening. And at the time, I was making $548 per month at Customs. And I was being paid $1,100 per month for a part-time job. So it was a no-brainer. And at the time, government was giving out a tourism scholarship, which I should have taken. But I was really into the workforce. I had my Corvette that I had fixed up. And, you got into that adolescence kind of, playing the field.
Yes.
So I spent there till Hurricane Gilbert when it was, so I went full-time. After a while, left Customs, went full-time as a manager, it was a rental property manager.
Okay.
So I left there, and because Ivan was September, I think, 87, I stayed
Gilbert.
There. No. Oh, Gilbert, yes. Sorry, Gilbert, yeah. And they got heavily damaged. And I left maybe after about almost a year after the rebuilt. And from there, I married Miriam Bodden. She was an older lady, and she was manager at the London House at the time.
Okay.
So during that time too, was because all of that money at that age, I was 19 years old, and a lot of money, and that was like the peak of my addiction. So when I met her, I worked with her in the property management. We left from London House. We went to Cayman Islander. From Cayman Islander, we opened our own store. We had a store just selling hammocks called the Hammock Hut. which was right on the waterfront in Georgetown. And I was also doing maintenance at Georgetown Villas. From there, we left and went to the retreat at Rum Point. So I had two stints of employment at the retreat. I went as a husband and wife team with Miriam, and I was the manager. And she left, and then I came and got involved in construction. I was Olson Construction. Olson and them had owned a condo there, so that's how I got to meet Harry. And when he left Hurlson Construction, he saw I was a good worker and was doing well at the retreat. He asked me to come and join him. So I was the office manager, and at times I was out in the field running different projects for him. I did that for a few years. And then from there, I went with Iron Shore Property Management Company, which was with Kirk Hendricks. And I was there for about 3 or 4 years as the strata manager for the condos.
So your current real estate life has an early start.
Yeah, it's always
property management. Really.
Correct.
Okay,
Yeah. So I have a long years of experience in that.
Property management, yes.
Yeah, and I started from the ground up.
Yeah.
Like I would tell people, I went from raking the beach to becoming a property manager. Right. It's all about how you apply yourself and your attitude and your attitude. My dad used to tell me, he said, Robert, it's not so much what you do, but it's how you do it. And whatever you do it, whatever you do it to the best of your ability.
Right.
Just simple words. And your word is your bond. If you're going to be there 7 o'clock, you be there for 7 o'clock. You know, no tardiness, because you know from your familyhood, your aunts and your uncles, your dad, your mom, that's how they were.
Yep.
On time, respectful. You know, those were our key manuals.
So you were very functional during all this time. You said you were struggling, but you were showing up to work.
Me doing that did not affect my performance at work. I was not, you know, I mean, I hear stories. You know, it's still going on. You know, it's in the major professions that we see today. People are still doing their functioning. I choose not to, right? But I wasn't one that was strung out. You know, when I drank, I didn't drink in the mornings. I didn't do drugs in the morning. It was on my time at work. Sometimes it was just a release mechanism to calm down. Some of my best thoughts came when I was under the influence.
Wow.
You understand? You hear of artists and musicians, right? But I didn't, you know.
But what was your rock bottom then? Because if you were still holding jobs and working and stuff, what did rock bottom look like for you?
Rock bottom looked like for me was that night in Northside, I had went on a binge.
I see.
And it wasn't just a drug binge. I rented a car from Old Judd's at Rum Point. I had on a full white suit because when I went out, I come from the Boddens. We dressed nice. We looked well. By the time I returned Sunday afternoon, it was like I had rolled in a whole hog pen, right?
Okay.
And that was what I was at. And my marriage was at stake, and it was that look in the mirror. It was that look in the mirror, right? You know, it was by the grace of God I did not die, right?
Wow.
And I'm thankful for that.
Yes.
You
Are
know?
you still married to?
No,
you're not married to her anymore. So okay, all
right. I have been down the road.
So that marriage ultimately didn't survive.
No, that didn't survive. I've been married. I'm on my 5th marriage. I'm not proud of that, but I'm not an abuser. No one can say that I hit a woman or got divorced, right?
Yeah.
You know, and some of those I lost interest. You know, but I am happily married for 7 years.
Okay.
And I'm now enjoying my princess, who was 2 years.
Is this your only child?
My only and first child, and this came from God. I've had so many miscarriages and shortcomings.
So 5 marriages, and the 5th one, that was the one that gave you the baby.
That's the one that gave the
Yes, and at your age now, you can get to enjoy it and really.
So it's like all, you know, everything is on God's timing.
Yeah.
You understand? I don't wish to close the door on my past one bit. It makes me who I am today. I am responsible. I'm respectful. I know what quality time is. It's not about material stuff. The most expensive thing you can spend on your family
is the time.
It's the time. It's the time.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You understand? So that's where I'm at in my life, mentally,
yes,
physically, and I know I can make a difference in someone's life. You know,
So tell us, what sort of are you a football person? Like, what do you enjoy doing when you have some downtime now?
Well, I enjoy walking.
Mhm.
I enjoy fishing.
Okay.
I enjoy just going at the beach and relax. I'm 60 years old and I'm overweight, so I'm not a track star. I'm not a football player.
Yeah.
So I like car sports. You
Mhm.
know, so I'm a big fan of NASCAR.
Mhm.
Um, and I work. I have a garden. I'm building my house in northward, which I've been building for the past 12 years.
Mhm.
I don't owe 1 cent on it.
Okay.
So I've been farming. I've got bananas, I've got plantains, I've got limes, lemons, avocados, breadfruit, ackee,
You got a proper
berries.
farm.
I got a
Wow.
proper farm, and
Nice.
it's therapeutic.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah. Where does your interest? We're not going to get into the campaign per
Yeah.
se, but where does your interest in politics come from? I mean, you say Roy Bodden is your first cousin. I
Yeah.
guess that
Yeah.
certainly had an influence on you.
Well, my interest is housing. I would say
Yeah.
housing and tourism,
Yeah.
based on my background,
Okay.
right? And I see there's need for improvements in
Yeah.
both areas, so
Okay.
that would be my forte.
And then Ozzy Bodden is he a cousin as well?
Yeah, he's a cousin. Yes,
Okay.
yes. I look up to Osborne as my second cousin.
Wow.
His dad and my dad were two first cousins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're still living in Bodden Town now.
I live at 54 Spice Drive, Bodden Town. Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
I had moved out of Bodden Town when I was 17. Like I said, I was very
Mhm.
independent. I'm not like some of these people who are still caught
Yeah.
up with mommy and daddy.
Yeah, yeah.
So I went out and paid rent. Like you said, functioning addict.
Yeah.
No one kicked me out because I didn't pay my rent.
Mhm.
So here I am today. If I can do it, you can do it.
Mhm.
Okay? But we got to put God first.
Yeah.
And,
So you might actually have known my dad then, Uric
Uric used to come to our
Solomon.
house. He was my dad's best friend.
No way.
Yes, we used to have a bar and restaurant
Really?
in Bodden Town, right?
Okay.
And I can clearly see Mr. Uric had a strong, powerful, masculine voice,
Yes.
right? And he'd sit there, he'd say, Hal. And my dad used to have this whole turntable, Emperor, Jim Reeves, Sam Cooke, and they'd sit there on a Sunday, and he used to make this concoction called the Pink Lady. They talk politics. They talk about going to sea.
Mhm.
Your dad was a mechanic too, and he was an entrepreneur.
Mhm.
All those apartments he built down there, he had a vision.
Mhm. Mhm.
So your dad was well respected and thought of in this country.
Mm.
When he came to Bodden Town with Miss Mabel, those are friends of ours.
Mhm.
Mabel, I don't remember your dad being. He was like my dad.
Mhm.
We had to go to church, but they didn't necessarily go to church
Yeah.
on a regular basis. But they made sure that God was the forefront.
Yeah.
My dad in his later years was a
Yes.
regular fixture in church and stuff, but
Yeah.
he was like the provider of the family, and that's what I learned from my dad. Because for me, to be a man is about responsibility, about meeting your responsibilities, right?
Mhm.
And when I say I was married 5 times, I had enough opportunities to make a child.
Mhm.
But I had this strong conviction no man was going to raise my child. And if I was not ready to settle down, I was not going to bring a child into this world until I had the full attention to pay to that child. I know what I went through as a child. And I hate when, the guys would say to me, oh boy, Robert, you're firing blanks.
It put some pressure on you.
They put some pressure on me, but it's not about the children you have.
Yeah.
It's the ones that you take care of. Those
Right.
are the ones that's going to succeed.
Absolutely.
And sometimes, no matter how much investment you put in them time, a child's going to be a child. They're going to be bad. Ain't one damn thing you can do about it. Right?
There'll be trials and tribulations there too.
Exactly.
So how old is your little girl now?
She was 2 years old yesterday.
Wow, she's very young.
I gave her my grandmother's name, Ginevra. Only to find out,
Okay.
my grandmother's date of birth was 3rd of March. My daughter's date of birth my grandmother's the 23rd of March. My daughter's is the 24th of March.
Wow.
And that's like from above. So she's the pride and joy of my life. And every day is like, some mornings I just wake up and I still can't believe it because I've never had a child part of my life. And I look in the bed like touches like
Is it real?
Is it real?
Oh my gosh, that must
yeah.
feel so special. You know, at that
But,
age, they're
yeah,
coming into their
yeah.
own. She's
And
talking a little bit now, calling you daddy. What does she call you?
Daddy,
Daddy, yeah.
daddy, daddy. And she comes running to the doors. I open that door. Oh, it takes me back to when we were kids.
Yes.
My dad used to, you remember those little animal biscuits?
Yep.
It had the back, had kind of little candle thing. So my dad used to
Yes.
wear bush jackets, right?
Yes.
So whatever he thought of, and us, I got a lion on my chest. He always made sure I got the lion. But he put that in the top pocket based on the height. And as he come, we'd knock him down, we'd grab it. Every time he opened that door, I had a gift. And I see myself spoiling my daughter now.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh my goodness, that is so precious.
Yes.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It's amazing.
Wow. So what are some of the fun things that you enjoy doing with her?
Well, going to the beach. She likes singing. I like reading to her. I sit down and watch educational videos with her. She can count to 20. She knows her alphabets. She knows her colors. The weirdest thing is, though, she says everything. She picks it up like that. But she won't repeat her name. She turns, she acknowledges her name. When you call her, she turns around and looks and all of this. She'll say it for her mom, and I'll say, "What's your name?" She laughs, she closes her eyes. So I think she got a little game going on.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. So is that it? One and done, or you're gonna fire off again? What's going on?
Listen, I leave it up to God. Right now, we're campaigning, so I know it's out. But you know, this one was a miracle, so it's on God's time. If it's to be, it's to be. You know, I would love another child.
Yeah.
So it may be something in the mix in the future.
Okay, very nice. Wow. What are some of your favorite foods? You can't be a Bodden Towner without.
My favorite is stewed conch, and I cook that well. Stewed conch. Yeah, I can do a good turtle.
Yes. Okay.
And if you're around election day, I have turtle, so I know you'll be coming around.
Yeah.
I'll be having a camp base set up at my place. I'll make sure that you have Cayman stewed conch.
Okay.
And Cayman turtle. I also cook good stewed beef.
Oh.
Because because when we were growing up, we had about 39 head of cattle, right? So we grew up, I ate so much beef growing up that there was a point in my life that you couldn't give me beef. And to this day, I only eat beef Christmas. Now and again throughout the year, I'll have a steak. But what they're selling and telling us is Cayman stew beef. That is not Cayman stew beef. No, that's stringy stuff. That's coming from an integrated culture. That only string beef comes from the Spanish cuisine, but that's not true Cayman, in my humble opinion. And if you speak to all the Caymans, they'll tell you the same. That's not Cayman stew. Stew conch, stew beef. I like fried fish. Bar and Kuda is my favorite. So we do the old time tradition. You throw a piece out, see if the ants take it.
Yeah. You never had barra poisoning then?
No.
Yes.
No,
okay, good.
Yeah, and I'm thankful because I hear it could be very bad.
Right. Yeah. Okay, nice. All right, so I'm gonna mark it in my calendar. Got some stew conch and turtle coming.
Yes.
Beautiful. What's the secret to your stew conch and get in the pie just right?
Well, the stew conch, you gotta clean it, wash it. What I do with mine is I squeeze lime over it. I got this from the people in West Bay, right? West Bay is some of the best cooking. Yes. So I squeeze lime, and then you gotta pound it. Got to pound that conch till it's tender. And I have this saying: if someone say you're a conch head, I mean you're very, very stubborn.
Yeah,
tough. So I pound that till that come out. So when I do my conch, I usually use a little butter. I chop up my onion, or sometimes I will cut up some bacon, because the bacon gives a little flavor. Instead of using butter, you fry the bacon in the bottom. Then I saute my onions, add my coconut milk. And when you scald the conch, I don't let the conch get cold, right? So once you scald it, you cut it up, and you cut it up, go straight in the pot.
Right.
And then what I do is very low heat. Just like how you cook the turtle, very low heat. 5 hours. 5 hours is how I do mine. So it's slow cooked.
Slow cooking.
When you take that conch out, you put it in your mouth, it's like melts in your mouth. Not this chewy stuff. And I only use Cayman conch. I don't use the imported conch, right?
That's right.
Yeah. And just like turtle, you add no water to turtle meat. Once you clean it properly, you add your season, which is onion, seasoned pepper, onion, sweet seasoned pepper, and that's it. Black pepper and salt. Cover it, slow cook, no water, and just let it simmer.
Let it simmer.
Zimmer.
Nice,
Yeah.
very nice. All right, I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to that. And what kind of sides? You put little sides with it as
Oh
well?
yeah,
Or?
yeah. Well, for me, I mean, like we do this Christmas and holidays, so
Yes.
you would have potato salad, coleslaw. You gotta
All
have
the
your bread.
fixings.
You gotta have your breadfruit. You know, your
Yes.
fixtures. Because my dad, if you just gave him rice, it's like
Yeah.
bit of provisions, bit of ground provisions. So yeah, fried plantain, that sort of
Yeah.
stuff. But your swanky, you gotta have your swanky.
You gotta have your swanky.
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. So you can help yourself in the kitchen.
Yeah,
then?
yeah. Because that comes from my mom.
Yeah.
She says, "Listen, I'm your mother. I'm not your cook, and I'm not your maid." Right? So, getting up in the mornings, we had to make up our beds before we could come to breakfast. And she taught us how to cook. She taught us how to iron.
Right.
And today, I'm very particular how my clothes are ironed. So, you know, if I argue, my wife will say, "Well, I iron in your clothes." I say, "Well, you're not spiting me because I can iron it, just I don't have the time." So you gotta find something else to spite me with. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I cook, clean, I sweep, I mop, I paint. You know, I do whatever it takes. Like I don't tell my wife, like, "Listen, you gotta cook this or you're expected to do this."
Right.
When she wakes up in the morning, the house is swept and mopped. Dishwashers loaded or emptied, so there's not one blessed thing for her to come to do other than if she wants something else. I'm an early riser, so I usually get up 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. And because of real estate, and the baby now, sometimes I'm gone before they wake up. But it's not that she got to come out and do anything. All that's
Right.
done, you know.
Let's talk about your real estate life a little bit.
Yeah.
When did you start to get into real estate?
I got into real estate through property management because the manager actually sold a condo, right? And it was amazing the misinformation that realtors would tell these people, right? Properties don't, these rental properties can generate about, at that time, maybe a 5-6% return. You know, sometimes depends on the season, you make a 10% return, but it don't necessarily pay your mortgage and the maintenance fees
Right.
and dues. And you had these realtors telling them all of this.
Oh my
Like,
goodness.
so I sold properties. I got into real estate through Cayman Development when I was managing the retreat. That would have been before Ivan. So like, because I joined the retreat in 2000, I left the retreat in 2006. And yeah, so I became a certified agent through Cereba, operating under Cayman Development.
Okay.
And from there, it's amazing. So I left the retreat where those owners had no problem with me as a Caymanian being a realtor and being a manager. They realized it was just part time. So after Ivan, the retreat chose to go with independent ownership. So I applied after and went to Islands Club on 7 Mile Beach, which for me, it was the epitome of my profession. Because if you're not a manager on 7 Mile Beach, it's like you haven't made it. So for me, it was an older property, but I was on the best beach in 7 Mile Beach. And I was like, wow, I've made it, I've arrived, right?
Yes.
You know. And all of this is without, any major degrees. I did go back to UCCI and I did a hospitality management course and so on and so forth. But what struck me was, the disadvantage of 7 Mile Beach. Northside had this charm where when the visitors knew you by name, you knew the visitors by name, you walk down the Chisholm grocery, it was the same. So Northside have this community knit that is not, that experience you don't find on 7 Mile Beach, right? I went there, they told me I had to give up my license in order to do to get this job, right? So it kind of broke my heart, and I also had a painting contract from the retreat. Now, I was the manager at the retreat, but the property was uninhabitable for 2 years. That went on for 2.5 years post Ivan, right? So I'm like, wow. But I could see then Cayman was at the recovery stage, was almost ending. And for me to go back into my painting and construction independent, I said, well, okay, I'm going to take this job. Stayed there for 12.5 years. And then I was made redundant. after my 2017 political run. But it was a learning curve of the way of life and the expectations of the people, the wealth. It was like you were scrutinized. Like at the retreat, I could sit and hang. I used to cook. I'd made a spit. A spit is I have a slow turning motor. I still have it to this day. And I would buy whole lambs and whole suckling pigs, and I would do and cook them myself for the owners and the guests. You know, down there they were more standoffish. It was so it's like your culture wasn't so much. They didn't want that so much on display. You know, versus now the smaller places welcome that. Like you go to Moritz, you know, they have that same type of culture. And the more expensive 7 Mile Beach get, the further inclusiveness or the further togetherness we are. We only have to see after we lost Aldean and Galleon Beach how that mix changed.
Right.
They didn't want us there anymore. You know, where the local bands used to play, Barefoot Man, all their local bands did not have a problem playing music or finding work. Nowadays, it's people coming in on permits, doing a job, and they form a band, they're playing. That shouldn't be allowed. Should be able to switch. I'm sorry, I'm going off topic. But it's all intertwined, you know. And my passion is there. When I see it, I gotta call it out. I'm sorry, you know. Yeah.
So you got into real estate. Are you an independent realtor now, or are you attached?
No, so I started after my 2017. I went with Century 21. Started Century 21 as an independent broker.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, let me back it up because I'm a hustler. I'm always doing something, right? So
I like it.
So I started.
I'm a hustler too. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. I see an opportunity.
I appreciate
people
the
are
vibe.
coming into this country doing it. I'm like, I'm born here. If I don't do it, someone else will come in and do it. Right? So I applied and went. Had my independent real estate license, Ultra Grand Properties.
Okay.
I started probably 2012, 2015, and I maintained that independent license. I sold some properties on 7 Mile Beach, and I started my house in 2012. So the money that I was selling stuff as a manager went into my house. I had to do this under the table, so to speak, but I wasn't doing nothing illegal. I had a binding contract, and I executed based on the contract. So I went with Kel with Century 21 in 2018. I signed a 1-year contract. It's a binding, independent contract. And that existed, and we parted ways because that case is still ongoing. It's a breach of contract. And then after that breach of contract, I am now doing my own business, which has been in operation. Ultra Grand Properties, independent, licensed on the DCI since 2021. 2020, I think. July 2020 is when I started. And I'm doing well as an independent operator. I look out for my Caymanians. I don't have a problem getting a listing because I'm well known. I don't send Sandra Catron a letter saying you own that property, which you figure is valued at X, but you get a letter in the mail saying it's 3 times that value. So it's this bait and switch that's going on in the industry by people on a work permit that they don't know the country. So if you're fool enough to give them that listing, 3 months they'll say, "Oh, Miss Sandra, I think we need a market adjustment."
Right.
And that goes and that's it. Does nothing for you as the seller, does nothing for the company that is selling. I am not that type of an independent, that type of a broker. I am honest, I'm open, I'm transparent. I have sold more homes to young Caymanians, right? My most recent sales were to the government with the public beach, where if you drive across where Thomas Russell Public Beach, you will see there's an adjoining piece of property with a concrete slab that was sold to the government by me. The piece of land on the north side next to Bo Miller's Public Beach was also sold to the government through me. Right? Those were some of the most expensive sales that I have made. All of my other sales is to young Caymanians with homes and land. So I'm looking out for my people. I enjoy what I do. I advise my young Caymanians and say, listen, A home is going to be your biggest investment, your biggest expense.
Yes, absolutely.
So the earlier you get into the housing market, the better off it is for you. Don't be baited and caught up with a brand new 100% car. Excuse me. Stay away from that $2,000 iPhone. And for the love of Jesus, wait until you get married to start, having a family, because purchasing a home is so intricate and is so expensive.
Yes.
So you have to mentally and financially prepare for it.
Absolutely.
And you have all of the check boxes you have to tick.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's a daunting process for sure.
It is.
Wow. Well, Robert, you and I have gotten to know each other a little bit better today,
Thank you.
sitting at this beautiful historic site. And I know you've got lots of plans for the beautiful district of Bodden Town, this side of Bodden Town. And, I can see that you're a visionary. You've been through some tough times, but I always tell people, listen, you're right where you're supposed to be.
Exactly. Exactly.
And everything that you've done and you've gone through has brought you right where you're supposed to be.
Correct.
So there's something to be said for that. And of course, you're able to uplift and help other people. You have that perspective in life because you've experienced something that maybe some people haven't. You can be more empathetic towards, the road having different types of bumps in it, and that's just how life is. So I thank you so much for sharing a little bit of your life story with us and, opening up your heart to the people of the Cayman Islands so that they can get to know Robert Bodden a bit more. Yeah.
Thank you.
Really appreciate that so much.
It's been my pleasure. And Sandra, you're doing an awesome job. You're letting the people know exactly what it is.
Thank you so much.
It is uncut, it's raw, and it's to the point. But the best thing that I love is, Miss Sandra, somebody lost their phone. And you post it up, and within a couple of hours, they're reconnected with their bike, their car, their phone. So listen, we're going to have haters. We're going to have haters.
Yeah.
But
we don't focus on that.
We're going to focus.
Yeah.
And thank you for this opportunity.
Absolutely.
It's also
it
been
was
a pleasure.
so nice. Thank you very much.
God bless you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Cold Hard Truth on Bobo 89.1 FM. Cayman's #1 talk show is live weekdays from 7:30 a.m. Never miss an episode again. Watch anytime on CMR's Facebook and YouTube channels for the latest show episodes. Don't forget to follow us online on our social media channels. And visit CaymanMarlRoad.com for all the latest news and community happenings.